everybody, and welcome to Roll Together RPG and to Myth and Mythios. This is our ancient Greek-inspired show that we are doing at the moment. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? My name is Josh. I'm going to fight. We're all going to fight Tom, apparently. My name is Josh. I use
Bring me on.
pronouns.
Come on.
Bring it.
Bring it.
And I'm just going to jump straight in and let Tom introduce himself.
Hello. So, my name's Tom. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Elpinor, he, him as well. Elpinor is currently in the wood with a bunch of dryads. And, well, I mean, dryads get to see guys who play the lyre all the time. But what if they come dressing like they're a track and field star? I was supposed to point out Taskmaster. Again, I make choices and look at it and I was like, well, that's just exactly the same colour as the t-shirt. This is the problem when sometimes there's a prophecy and you're just like, I'm going to run away from the prophecy, but that's the one thing you can't do in Greek myth, and sometimes the person just turns up and is like, you...
Wait, are you linked to these dryads?
Oh, my.
No, I'm more interested in nymphs. Yeah. Anyway,
Aren't we all?
Aren't dryads a type of nymph?
how dare you? I'm like, yes, but Josh, you must be better than that.
Really?
Yeah. They're not all the same.
All nymphs look the same to you, Josh?
Oh,
I said a type. They're a subtype of nymph.
some of them are wet and some of them are dry. There's a
There
difference.
we go.
Anyway.
Some of them have ads. Get it? Try ads. No, carry on. That introduce stuff.
Shut it! Anyway, I throw over to my associate.
I think I took psychic damage from that. Hi, I'm Nat. I use she, her pronouns, as does my character Fig. Definitely always been called Fig. But sometimes called Tisiphone. What do we say? Tisiphone the Unfallen? That's the one. Yeah, she's like a real hero. Yeah.
Didn't we come up with another name during last session? Wasn't it something to do with you being sick all of the time?
Oh, she killed Harpy.
All of the time. Look, it happened one time, and yes, it was very extreme.
And the entire town heard it.
And she may still be suffering some of the after effects just a little bit. But it's fine.
What's better than going into the woods to sober up, you know? Also, while she was drunk, she did a little confession to Elpinor, and Elpinor was like, I'm just going to pretend I don't remember any of that.
Put that in a box. Put it away.
Just holding onto the back of my head going, do you think the gods are mad at me? And I'm like, no, everything's fine. Anyway,
before we dive into tonight's session, we have a couple of sponsors and supporters to thank. Our sponsor for tonight is Phoenix Dice. You can go to phoenixdice.com to check out their clickety-clack math rocks, including some limited...
Click and clack.
That's click and clack, including some limited edition roll together dice. Tom, all we saw were your hands then. If you use code roll together all in caps at checkout, you can get 25% off of your purchase. We're also proud to be supported and support Bearded Ladies. They are a clothing company made by Ed and G, Roll Together veterans. You can follow the links in the chat down below to go check out their range, and also find them on social media because they do some really cool interviews with other fashion industry people that are really interesting to listen to. So go and check those out. A massive thank you to the D20 Club, Dice Heads, and others on Patreon. They are fantastic. They are the best. You can join them from as little as one of your local currency per month, or one goat, which must be sent to Tom for all of the Greek reasons, by following the links in the description below. You're watching us on YouTube, so please do consider liking this video, commenting down below, and subscribing to the channel because it helps us know what you like so we know what to make more of for you. Help me to help you. Help me to help you. And with all of that, we are going to dive into tonight's session.
My thumb wouldn't come up.
In our last session, we spent a little bit of time exploring the town of Erithos. Well, in the last two sessions, I should say, we spent a little bit of time exploring the town of Erithos. There was some food, there was some music played, there was some drinking to be had, there was lots of throwing up that the entire town heard. There was some mothering of Theo, or parenting of Theo, should I say, and we discovered that Theo has a friend that is around the same sort of age as him, although he has a crush on the barmaid or the owner of the tavern that you have been staying in recently. But all that to one side, you went to go see Corinna, and she told you about the Dryads and that she'd received a note, and that you were to travel to the woods to go and see them. You also went to go and speak to the leader of the woodcutters, who told you that if you could go and deal with the wolves and whatever else it is that is there, that they could move in and begin cutting. Otherwise, they would have to travel further in a different direction, which means that their business would slow down and the people would be away for longer and risk being in more trouble with bandits and army wars and all of that sort of stuff that's going on. So you've got a decision to make. Do you help the Dryads or do you help the log cutters?
We don't know what the Dryads need yet.
You don't
Maybe
know what
we
the
can
Dryads
find
need.
a way.
Possibly.
Also knowing how Dryads work, where it's just like, it's not just their tree, it's them. They will die. So we've got that to worry about.
Yes. So you set out on your quest. Now, it took you a number of days to get to where this woodland is. I think I said it was 3 days. So in total, it took you to get here, which is nice and easy for the woodcutters to do. Because it's all on a road, you realise that, travelling an extra 4 days to be able to get to the area where you need to cut the trees, probably not a good idea for them. But anyway, you entered into the woods. You did manage to get some wolfsbane from Corinna, which will help fend off any wolves that do try to attack you. You got 2 sticks of it. You chose to leave the third one there to give to the woodcutter leader so that he could give those to his people the next time they went out. Because there's been a shortage of stock coming in because the ship from Athens hasn't come in yet because of a storm. You left one of those sticks with Theo, who took the cart and went to hide in a large tree basin area.
Hide in a large tree?
Hide in a large tree.
A small large tree.
tree.
How'd you get the horse up?
It's a small tree with a big booty. You carried on going, and after probably about 20, 30... Yeah, you can look at me like that. After about 20 or 30 minutes more of travelling, this thick mist begun to sort of settle in along the ground, and weird shapes began appearing off in the distance. These shapes looked almost humanoid in a way, but they still had that sort of tree-ish like look to them. And as you got a little bit closer, you began to realise that, oh, these are Dryads. And that is where we are going to pick up our session, as the pair of you are stood there, and you can see these figures just stood in the woods. They're not moving. They just seem to be stood like statues at the minute.
Right. So they're just staring at us, right?
You can't see any facial features or anything. They're far enough back where the mist and the lighting in this area, because there's quite thick foliage above. Foliage above, not foliage. Foliage above. So it's not that there are any facial features or features of their bodies or anything like that are obscured. You can just make out their shapes.
Did Corinna give us any missives or like a little note with a seal or anything to be like, hey, these are the ones that I trust?
She said just to say to the Dryads that you had been sent for by...
Yeah. Well, in that case, we'll sort of look at Elpinor, knowing that he is the expert in Dryads in this situation, and just give you a little nudge.
So, like, as you're looking, like, Elpinor's looking kind of terrified, where I think you haven't quite seen it, but he's sort of, yeah, no, right.
Guidance.
I think you also say that in world as well.
Just guidance.
Guidance. So add the D4.
I don't know it. Just guidance.
Yeah, just go. Is there like a tree stump? Like, is there like something I could sit on?
Yeah, so there's a tree. You're You would know from your walking through the woods that you've seen a couple of trees that have been cut down in certain places. I think I believe I described it before, where it's not like the woodcutters are just cutting every tree they see down. It looks like they're selecting particular ones, marking them off, and then cutting those down, but they're leaving other trees around. So you've seen sort of dots of those as you've gone. You've seen a couple of them that they've started working on, but have probably been scared away, so have left them sort of half damaged. But you're able to find a tree stump that you can sit on. Looks like it was probably freshly cut within the past 2 weeks.
As I'm sitting, I sort of very gently sort of run my fingers over it, like I look at Fig with just like, and then like. Get the lyre out and just start quietly playing. And then, as I'm sort of playing, just something coming, I'm like, we wish to speak with Eurydice of this woods. The woodsmen that have been coming here have disagreement with you, and we would like to resolve it. I know you are creatures of peace and would not wish to see harm befall anyone. I cannot think of any better word to put that. Parlay. It's just...
Also, Corinna centers.
Also, slight pause. Also, we were sent by Corinna. We are friends to these woods.
You hear like a snapping of wood, and
Keep
for the
playing.
briefest of moments, you think that you saw some of their heads turn as if to look towards you. And then you watch as two of them begin to step forward. One of them is a very, very slender looking figure. The other one is slightly more broad across the shoulders, but still has almost a feminine look to them. And they both step closer to you, and as they do, they sort of step out into the light a little bit, and you can see that they are completely made of bark, and they've got human features similar to the pair of you, but they look more angular, and they've got their ears come up to a point, I think like elven type thing, and one of them, the more slender of the two, they've got these leaves and roots that are coming out of the back of their head, or like hair that descends all the way down and past their kneecaps. Basically, it's just hair, leaves and foliage all over the place. The slightly broader one has much shorter hair, we're going to call it. It's more almost like a sort of like a bob cut, and you can see that as that one's stepping forward, it goes to put its hand down on its forearm, and it pulls a wooden blade out and begins to step forward. As they're not quite human in the way that they move. They've got almost like a float, like, you know, like how a tree sort of moves in the wind. They've got that sort of look to them as they're walking towards you, and they both just stand there. The slimmer of the two steps forward and holds out a hand, but doesn't say anything.
I stop playing. I put the lyre at my side. Put it up. No weapons.
We'll put her spear on the ground.
You kind of see, like, with the other hand I'm moving, I kind of give you the thumbs up of, like, yeah, we're handling this right. Extend.
Okay.
We come in peace.
The broader of the two begins to step forward and gets really close to the pair of you. You can see that there's just completely made of tree, completely made of bark. There's no clothing or anything on, very naked, but leans down and picks up each of your items and holds them in one hand. And you watch as the blade disappears back into the forearm again, and it turns around and begins walking back towards where this other group of people are. The slimmer of the two holds their hand out still for you.
Put my hand in her hand.
And Her hands
It's like
slowly.
an all hands in situation.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Fig goes to like also in
Yeah.
a like are we like go teaming here?
You hear the creaking of wood as this figure's head turns towards you, Fig, and waits as Ellie's hand is also there. You place your hand on top, and it goes to close its hand, but obviously because both of your hands are on top of each other, and it has got human hands. Not human hands as in it's cut somebody's hands off and stuck it on the wood or anything like that. It's human-sized hands. As it goes to close, it doesn't quite get around both of your hands, but you watch as these vines begin to... looks really painful, but these vines begin to grow out of where the fingernails are and finish off the sort of clasp, and you feel, both of you feel like this really warm energy, and this green light emanates sort of in this ball that is been formed by your three hands, and then the vines all retract, and this figure lets the hand go and drops the hand. And if you were to both look on the backs of your hands now, you can see that there is a small green tree mark on the backs of your hands. It's like a nightclub stamp.
We're going clubbing. It's fine.
Great.
Right.
No. In the traditional sense of the term.
Yeah.
Let's go fight some wolves. Woo! Okay.
And then these symbols glow green, and as they settle in and look more like tattoos on your hands, you both watch as this mist that's been around you begins to glow this almost midnight light blue. And as that happens, it's like it slows down, and you can see each individual particle of the mist to the point where it looks like the stars have fallen down. And these lights begin to light up all of the trees, causing the green on the trees to grow really bright. And as you look further along, you can see these dryads all come to... like you can see them properly now. There's no mist obscuring them, no light obscuring them. It's like this... the mist that has now become like fallen stars is providing a natural light and is causing the trees to glow. Only in front of you, everything behind you seems to be deadly dark. And it's like you've walked into a city. Everything is just opened out to you, and you can see there's houses in the trees that have been naturally made out of wood, like parts of trees have been extended out to grow. You've walked into a druid city, or a dryad city, should I say, basically, and the magical seal on your hand has revealed it to you.
I think there's just the very, very briefest flash of a this is the most magical and beautiful thing Fig has ever seen. Like, bar none. She's a city gal who's only really recently come to appreciate the myths that she was taught about as like storybook figures were real. And this is wild. So I think there are no words, but there is just that moment of, like, after our hands have been on top of the dryads and seeing the thing, and then just sort of seeing everything else, there is just the briefest second where her hand brushes against Alpinor's, like just completely unconsciously while she's seeing everything, and then just kind of pulls it away and just stares.
You have a moment that you, as you sort of put away, you think Elpinor was like going to hold your hand, but it's put away, and he's like, if you look at him, he's just dewy-eyed, that kind of, there's wonder, but there's also probably like what you would probably think is homesickness, of that sort of thing of like, and again, sort of like from above the table, that kind of feeling of going, cool, this is something I can never go back to, sort of. I think both of us having the feeling of being banished from our safe spaces, and this is but he sort of like takes it and looks at you, he's like, it is truly magnificent, isn't it?
Have you've seen this before?
I saw a smaller version. I've never seen anything this grand. As she sort of looks at you, and like as we make eye contact, and he sort of a shield drops. I grew up around dryads. I lived in the wood. In a way, these are distantly related to the family that took me in, but as all trees are. But I never thought I would see something like this again.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, yes, it truly is. But
I'm so sorry.
it looks at you, and this is very much depending on how much you think you remember of the previous few nights, where he's like, well, sometimes we need to leave. We might not want to leave our home, but sometimes it's for the best.
I'm gonna roll a history check.
Yeah.
Yeah. She kind of looks at you with a slight horror of like, oh fuck, I did say that, didn't I?
Kind of like, it's just sort of like that as the hand comes up about not now, but also in the same way that he offered his hand to the dryad of no fret here, I'm on your side.
Yeah. Just get a little nod.
It just has a moment of like going, yeah, no, I think that was the right. I probably should have told her that I knew before, but when's a better time than when you're going literally into the mouth of the. Anyway. Okay.
Please come with me this way. The mistress wishes to speak to you.
Mistress.
Yeah, usually it's a matriarchal society. So.
Oh, sounds ideal.
He kind of like. He's like, yeah, no, sort of like. Canonically, it's a lot of sitting around and eating grapes. It's kind of nice. And you know what happens? Men come into the woods, and that ruins everything. Anyway, thank you. Yes, thank you. He also sort of like feels a bit like as he reaches down, he's like, "Oh, damn! They took the lyre." Oh, that's I needed. Have they taken you? They've taken this.
They've taken my spear as well.
Right. So both our like items are gone. We're like,
yeah.
Right.
Now that the symbol is on the back of your hands and the city has been revealed, the figure that is stood in front of you no longer looks like bark and looks like a complete human woman with ears and everything, and is not wearing any clothing, as is the other one that was with you, and some of the others that were closer to you. But as you look further into the city, you can see that people are clothed.
The welcoming party just get their kit off and like, hey.
You will just get like a little like group around dryads, eh?
Yes.
I think with your knowledge, Ellie, you would know this is a defensive tactic. We've grown up.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a very common defensive tactic.
Yeah, I mean, young Ellie also would probably have spent a lot of the time naked. You know, it's just, you know, it's warm, it's comfortable. You just hang out by a pond and sing to some frogs.
Hang out.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Hang low. Anyway.
Thank you? Question mark. Anyway, let's go.
Should we go into the sparkly pretty city?
I think there's plot.
So you begin making your way through this city, basically. And it is rich and bright everywhere. You can see there are children running around. There are parents who are sort of playing with their children and things. There are people who are trading and shopping with each other. There, you can see there's people that are working similar. It's very much like Erithos, but on a much larger scale. You can see people going in and out of trees. There's at one point you watch somebody go into a tree and appear up on a gangway up at the top. It's like a lift. Sort of appeared up and started walking along. As you begin getting closer, you can see there is a massive, large tree that is almost in the center point of this entire location. And that seems to be where you're being led. And I will ask for a perception check from both of you, please.
8.
3.
It's all just so sparkly.
It's
It's
also,
also sparkly and nice.
And also, I think he's sort of like going, I can see through the veil, but I'm like, this, you know, it's that game of like, going, what are you when we don't have that stamp? You know, are you a nymph? Are you dryad? Are you a satyr? You know, it's just like, it's also like once you've gone back to your like hometown place, like, wow, look at all this. What's that? What's this? What's this? I'm just turning to Jack Skellington. I'm like, what's this? What's this?
Yeah.
Also, the music of the forest, and
There's
I'm like,
dryads everywhere.
very excited, but also utterly terrified.
The dryad that you saw that met you and held the hand out doesn't say anything else as they keep leading you through. The other one who took your weapons is a few paces in front and makes their way into the sort of large opening to this giant tree. As you both keep walking, you can see that there is a very dark patch just to the right-hand side of the tree. And as you get closer, you begin to hear the sounds of groaning and moaning. And you can have a look over there, and what you see are humans that seem to be on their knees or buried in the dirt. And there are vines that are growing around them or through them. You can see that there's a couple of these people are deceased, with vines coming out of their mouths and in through their eyes, out of their ears. And yeah, it's not a very nice sight. These people, some of these vines have got thorns on them. People are, you can see there's one person who's gagging on one. There's another who is, you watch as their two dryads lead them into position and they take a knee, and then these vines begin wrapping around their arms and their legs and begin pulling them into the ground.
Suddenly a lot less beautiful.
Yes, I mean, red in tooth and claw. Well, branch, I suppose. Dryads, well, to be honest, the woodmen are lucky. They didn't have this. Dryads have a habit of getting their revenge very swiftly.
Noted.
Yeah. Nodding, kind of like... But I think while Fig looks kind of shocked, Ellie doesn't, you know, it's that sort of thing like having gone out into the world and gone, oh, people don't get turned into stags all the time. Interesting, yeah. Okay, cool, I'm learning. It's been quite a few, it's been an experience, yeah.
As you are led through into the large open area. Not the large open area, it's a large tree. As you are led
big
into
small
there.
tree.
The big small tree. This is another big small tree. It's a very big small tree. And you walk in. It's very reminiscent of walking into a large church. There's lots of seating and everything around where people could sit down. There's a long pathway that leads up to some naturally formed steps that lead to a sort of throne that someone is currently sitting on. What would be like stained glass windows behind is just open holes in the tree that's letting in this natural or this mist light into this entire area and lighting it all up. You can see there's little like berries or beads or something that are growing within this tree, and as the light hits off of them, it causes those to light up in a brilliant greeny yellow light all around that basically illuminates this sort of interior. And as these two dryads lead you up to the almost where the base of the steps are, you can see sat on this naturally grown throne is a woman, a dryad, stand probably about 6.5 foot tall. You guesstimate, because she's currently sat down, wearing the typical sort of Greek toga, but there's also inlays of roots and flowers all sort of patented throughout the whole thing. There's the one thing that you have noticed when walking through this entire place, that there is no sign of any metal anywhere, except for on her. She's got a golden bracelet that's bracelets that are on both of her arms, and she's got a sort of wooden crown on her head that looks like it's got gold inlaid into the wood. Again, her hair is very similar to everybody else's. It looks like it's made out of tree and roots. That's one thing that didn't change when their true forms were revealed to you. Their hair still looks like leaves and roots and everything. She's quite darker of skin, and she's got brilliant emerald eyes. And she's just sat down, not in sort of like a relaxed or lazy position. It's very much a upright, legs, one leg crossed over the other, in a very sort of regal, stern position. As you approach, you two are both told to stop about 10 feet away from where the steps are, and the other two dryads step forward and both kneel down in front as this large figure gets up off of the throne and descends down, placing her hand on both of them, and then sort of glides in between them to walk amongst the two of you.
We'll go to Neil as well.
Yeah, also. So that's like, again, like...
Yeah.
I think we're just kind of into, like, royalty.
Yeah.
Grovel, grovel, grovel. Yeah.
I want to pick up on something that I think was either said at the end of last session or, like, when we did the chat afterwards. This is who Elpinor was sketching, right?
I have drawings of a woman in my book.
But specifically her, or just
Or
someone
a
who looks a
description you
bit
have
like
of
her?
her? Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I have dreams.
Sure.
I just, just.
Because I don't think we didn't, like, Fig didn't specifically call Elpinor out on it, but had definitely clocked the sketch. So won't say anything because she's right in front of us, but will... Fig
Store
will...
that for later.
I mean, he's looking at her again with his big doe eyes, and just the sad, or in awe, but also just sad. Like he didn't want to see her, Store it for later, or until I get like a root just through the bottom of my chin, and you're like, oh well, I'm sure he had a deep, dark backstory, and now he's an ash tree.
This really hurts.
We hear outside. You're like, yeah, well, you shouldn't have stolen berries. Come on. Anyway, yes.
As this figure moves in between the two of you, you watch, Ellie, as a hand descends down towards you, and a small vine grows out of one of the fingers that just licks the bottom of your chin and tilts your head up towards to look at her. And the vine itself sort of wraps around, goes underneath your chin, and then wraps around one of your cheeks as she turns your face one way, and then it moves around to the other side and turns your face the other. You can see that she's got a very sly smile on her face as she does this. And then she turns her attention towards where Fig is, and her other hand extends out, and it does the exact same thing where she lifts your head up and turns you side to side. At least you humans seem to have a modicum of respect for those who are clearly in power. You may stand. And the vines retract and the hands move away as she takes a step back. As she says you can stand, she steps back so that the other two dryads are in between you and her. And she just sort of nods to the pair of you.
Thank you, Majesty, for your hospitality and for giving us diplomats a chance to speak to you this day.
Well, My sister Corinna asked for you to be given an audience, so I would not dare refuse her.
She did not tell us that she was your sister.
Sister in terms of, and she gestures to everybody around. She is one of the best of us.
She is a friend to us and has given us much hospitality in the past. I would go as far as to claim she is a good friend. And I feel that there is no point in us... You see him stumble, and he, he was going to say beat around the bush, and then just stops. No time in us wasting your precious time. We are here to resolve the conflict between this grove of dryads and the woods cutters of the town.
There has been no conflict yet. If you're here to stave a conflict, then your help is much appreciated.
Indeed.
If you are here to instigate a conflict, it will not end well for you.
You have our weapons.
This is true. And she looks down towards where the broader of the two dryads is and looks over them.
I flick back to the door, flick back. We are glad to hear that there has not been conflict yet. Though they fear the attack of wolves, that is obviously a natural thing that, I understand that you control, but...
Wolves are the guardians of our forests, and they keep all of its inhabitants safe while maintaining the circle of life. If the wolves feel that they need to protect themselves from the wood, from your people, I will not stop them.
Noted. You are aware that the woodcutters have been... I was not aware before that the woodcutters had been intruding into your grove, but you understand that humans do require wood in order to survive.
Oh yes, we understand, and we know that in order for, as you said, we know that for your kind to survive, you need to harvest the natural sources of the world, as do all living creatures. They all need to harvest. However, if your people decide that they wish to intrude on our territory, on our areas, and not harvest our graveyards, then that will be a problem.
Is there a way to make it clear the boundaries of your territory so they do not intrude upon them?
It is something that we have discussed amongst ourselves. If there was a way for us to create a wall or a sign that they should not go any further. Unfortunately, you are human, and humans have insane lack to this lack. No, hang on. Josh trying to phrase it in his head. Humans have this tendency to believe that they can take what is not theirs.
I understand
No matter
that could be a
whether
problem.
there are signs or not.
My concern is that, it's not really a concern, my query about this is that the leader of the woodcutters from Erothos is known to Corinna, and she knows where he heads to cut and to fell. So she must believe that some parts of the woods around here are safe territory. Am I right in thinking that?
Yes, the area where your woodcutters, your your woodcutters is the way I will refer to them. Where they have been cutting so far has been our graveyards. I don't know if you know this, but when we dryads die, we become the trees that you see out there. And
So I have
then we become a part of nature that is then harvested by either by humans or is used by the wildlife to live. All of these trees that you see within our great settlement were once great dryads.
So the point being that the graveyard specifically is off limits, or the graveyard is where the so the graveyards are a welcome
The
place to
graveyards are the
fell?
limitation. That is the only place that we will allow you to cut, allow your people to cut. If you venture into our area, that is where we will defend ourselves.
Certainly, we can make that clear to them.
They are not unreasonable. They will understand, and while humans seem to have forgotten the song of the gods, they will understand a holy site. That if they were informed that they might have forgotten the stories, but they are not unreasonable. Please.
Well, both very, very sweet. And the face that you pulled, young one, looking towards you, Fig, when you entered into this area was that of disbelief, if I am to assume correctly? And amazement?
Amazement more than disbelief, if you'll forgive me. If yesterday you'd have told me or had Elpenor described the sights to me, then that would have been disbelief. But seeing it with my own 2 eyes, then amazement is more appropriate.
And that is a good reaction. It is not a reaction that we will get from all. Just look at what you saw as you walked in. Those that you see of your kind as we are punishing or returning to the earth are those who have discovered us and have chosen violence against us, or are those that have chosen violence against your own kind and have sought our woods as refuge and have been punished as such.
I was going to ask if any of them were from Erothos or whether they are strangers to the town. Corinna has great influence in Erothos.
That
Lucas would listen to her.
That is good.
We would like to resolve this peacefully. Simple as that, you know.
Do you have guarantee that... Sorry,
I was going to say, we cannot defend the actions of those men. If they have brought violence to your city, it is your right as ruler. Small glance at Fig, to treat them. But as we said, Corinna will have a stable and guiding hand on these men. Please, no more bloodshed on either side.
There has been no bloodshed as of yet. You have come at the opportune time to prevent any bloodshed from starting.
I believe that they do fear the wolves. Do you have guarantee that the wolves will not harm them as long as they stick to the graveyards?
The graveyards are the forests themselves, other than what we already inhabit. So if by harvesting the graveyards you happen upon a wolf's den, then that is out of my control. I can only stave them off so far. If you threaten their lands, then you will have a problem with them. You will need to speak to them.
So you are not in... If there are wolves that are troubling the woodsmen on forest land, not your land, would you take issue with us defending the woodsmen against the wolves?
It is the circle of life. The wolves defend their home. Your people defend their lives. Whoever comes out on top comes out on top.
This is good to know. This is a potential way forward. Elpino?
Yes. Again, Elpino keeps getting distracted. Look at this one. Yes. There is another matter. Maybe not for this moment, but Josh, this is the woods we ran into when we were being chased by the undead, right?
No, different woods.
It's another woods. Different woods.
A different wood 3 days away.
Yeah.
You know,
Everything's within 3 days. You've gone in a different direction. That's why.
Yeah, sure.
This might be a matter for maybe a later hour, but there are dark forces beginning to gather in this land. Myself and my hero here were pursued by
Hero.
Yes, she's
She steps in between the two dryads again and steps, so she's almost touching where. Well, no, because you're stood up now, so she's almost like face to face with you, Fig, and you watch as her hand comes up, and the vines come out of her middle finger and her index finger, and they both wrap around your cheeks, and she lifts your face up again and turns your head left and right. Hero, you say? She looks over. She just gives a big sniff.
Yes.
I can see a hero here. I can also smell a little bit of something else.
Doing my best.
It retracts.
I feel, Majesty, we were pursued by undead creatures.
She shudders at that word and sort of retracts a bit from where Fig is, and you can see that her hair almost comes to life, like almost snake-like, and sort of flares out a little bit. And as she opens her eyes, they have like a really yellow tinge to them, and it's like red is filled into them, but she shakes it off, and her form sort of goes back to its sort of natural, or what you've seen of her so far. It's very much a Galadriel evil side moment.
Then you've heard.
Yes, I have heard.
The point being that we were, I believe, saved by your sisters. We fled into another wood, and these creatures were held back. It's a concern, the circle of life, as you say, but what is happening out there is...
That is not the circle of life.
Exactly. It is not godly, it is not right, it is not
right.
natural. We, as feeble as we might be, we do not wish, and no one would wish for that to happen. We would wish to help, and if there is a way, we might...
Corinna seemed to think that you may have some knowledge of these wild mages. There was a woman controlling the undead. Tattooed, yes.
Yes, they are abominations to both your people and mine. They are practitioners of ancient and dark magic, long thought forgotten. My people have been at war with their people for a long time. They are a combination of dryad and human.
Oh.
What you speak of is something called necromancy. It is where necromancy.
he legitimately has his notebook out. It's like because I like
Latin has not been invented yet.
Yeah, yes, it is. It's a word he's never heard of. So yeah.
Hey, look, we're using some modern day terminologies here.
No, that's fine. But also in world, it's like that is also a word that we wouldn't have heard of. Like for us, we know what necromancy is, but also being like the dead, rising. Yeah.
It is an ancient and dark magic. Goes by many names throughout many different cultures and among many different pantheons. But in this instance, the wielder of the magic is able to tap into the underworld, and those who have not been able to cross over because they cannot pay the ferryman, their souls are brought back and put into the bodies of nearby deceased. That is what raises these undead. They are not mindless. They know what is going on. They seek to live in this place where they should not be anymore, and they should all be eradicated. They are controlled by dark powers. Do you, child, looks to Fig, feel as a hero that you are ready to tackle such a challenge? One that would even send the greatest heroes in our history, would send chills down the backs of the greatest in our history.
We have faced them before. If we must face them again to protect people, then let it be so, I suppose. It was not my ambition to wage a war, only to survive.
And, Majesty, we shouldn't rely on heroes who rush into battle. My friend here is brave and is true and will do what's right. That's me giving you a bardic inspiration as well as a general, pep talk. Yeah.
And she turns towards you, Ellie, and she walks close to you. And the same thing with the two fingers again, and pulls your face up and looks you up and down. And you, Elpinor, what is your purpose here? What is it that you can do? You have not claimed yourself to be a hero. Or what are you, a muse? Are you just here to tell the stories of those of your friend?
The word muse is, the colour drains from his face. I'm just a man, Majesty.
Yes, you are. And she lifts her hands up, which sort of tightens up.
He is
your
also
neck
a
little
hero.
bit.
No.
And you lift off of the floor.
Think, no, don't.
No, he is brave, and he has wits, and he has a great heart to care for everyone. And that is what is needed more than people fighting on the battlefield with spears and brute muscles. We need heart.
His hand's trying to be like, no, stop, but you just, bless you, you're just like, this is my friend. No, don't.
Put him down.
Make me a persuasion check, please, with advantage.
You got the bardic.
I've got a +0. It's a 24.
Wow. As this is happening and Elpinor is being held up, and you say these words, you can feel these vines begin to wrap around your ankles, Fig, and then they begin to crawl up your leg, and before you have a chance to react, you're pulled down into a kneeling position while Elpinor is being held up. And well, this is with this hand, she's doing it. And in the entire time that you've been saying this, her gaze has been fixed on Elpinor. And as you finish, she just smiles and looks towards you. You have the audacity to speak to somebody of my stature like that?
We came to help. We came to help protect you. We came to help Corinna. And we will do what we can to help you in your war against these necromancers. But I cannot do that if Elpinor is not with me.
And she sort of she pulls her hand forward, which the vines sort of pull Elpinor closer. So you are, it's slowly. She's not rough with it. She's doing it very gently.
Oh, she's not rough. She's been choking me out, but she's not rough.
Well, no, it's not that she's been choking you out. It's more that she's been holding you by your jaw to lift you up off the ground.
I need that to sing.
It's uncomfortable, but she's not choking you out. But she just brings you
You can lift
closer.
from the bottom of the jaw without actually putting any pressure on the voice box.
Yeah. So that's what she's doing.
It's not pleasant.
It's like, it's not a very nice thing to do.
I'm not enjoying any of this.
No, you're not enjoying it. But she just whispers. She just whispers in your ear. Hang on, I've completely lost my train of thought there.
Yeah, you got too excited. Go on.
I did get a bit too excited.
Go on, whisper in my ear. Tell me sweet nothings.
Oh, fuck! What was I going to say?
Come on, Majesty, Queen of the Woods.
I remember what I was going to say. Brings you in closer and just whispers in your ear. Your hero is either incredibly brave, or incredibly stupid. I am interested to see what the pair of you can do. Sorry, what the three of you can do. Oh yes, I know about the other one. And she lowers you down. And the vines drop off of you, Fig, and retract. Do not worry. Your young friend is being kept safe in the location that they chose. They are being watched over so that nobody can find them. You do not need to worry about them. Corinna was right about the pair of you, it seems. I apologize for my inhospitality. That's a word.
She can say whatever she likes at the moment. I'm not going to correct her.
I had to be sure that you were who you said you were. She speaks highly of you, by the way.
Also, insight check, because...
You can insight check her.
Yeah. Because also, we never gave her... I don't think we ever gave our names. That she... I haven't said Fig's name. She called me Elpinor. I don't think we ever gave that. So, 10.
I think I... Did I?
It makes sense that Corinna would have said these are the people, but also just, also, maybe because we've also, if you're going to say you are who you say you are, I'm just a guy. And this is just my friend. She killed a harpy, very impressive. Yeah, 10.
We heard
15.
it all the way from here. You definitely didn't kill a harpy.
Oh, you!
Oh, no. What did you roll, sorry, Nat?
15.
15. Okay, so it doesn't take much to put the two and two together. When you both got here, you said that Corinna sent you. So that leads you to believe that that's where she's gotten your names from. Is she's obviously been told that you two are coming. So having been told that two people who have been sent by Corinna are here, she would assume that you would be Fig and Ellie.
Doesn't go any deeper than that. It was her just checking that we are who Corinna.
She's checking you are who you say you are. With a 15, I'll also let you know that there is a... what's the word I'm looking for? There is a trepidation there. Even though that you have proven that you are who you say you are, there's still a level of distrust. Might be because you're human.
We have come to you with our requests and our insight. Please tell us what we may do to assist you in your situation. And we will be on our way.
You humans have there are many things that are vulgar that you do, but there is one thing that you do very well. One thing that you do with our graveyards very well. And it is you are able to transform our kin into these thin things that you are able to write on. I believe is what you
Scrolls.
call it. Scrolls and things, yes. There's one thing that you are able to do, which is you're able to survey areas and create what you like to call maps, I believe it is.
Yes.
Yes.
If you could bring me a map of this area, of this wood, I can draw you a line as to where our grove, our city, our settlement, whatever it is you want to call it, I can draw the lines of where our boundaries are and where your woodcutters cannot enter. I cannot tell you where the wolf dens are, but I can tell you where my people reside and where your people are not allowed for threat of death.
May I ask, and forgive me if this is, I beg ignorance. I only learnt that dryads were more than children's stories yesterday. You cannot tell us where the wolves live. Is that because you have a deal with them, or because you genuinely don't know, or because it is a test, or...
Generally do not know. Wolves do not always stay in the same place all of the time, and it is incredibly taxing to keep an eye on their movements all of the time, especially when they have a respect for not encroaching on our territory.
Certainly.
Appreciated, Majesty. We will acquiesce to your request. We will find you a map. Once again, thank you for your hospitality.
Oh, I was not done. That is
God.
God.
Races himself for more vines. Like, oh.
That is what I am going to provide you. Now I need you to provide me something.
Name your terms.
There has been a majestic creature spotted in our woods, in the graveyards, on the boundaries of our territory. This creature has been warped and twisted by these dark magics that we spoke of before. A few of my people have gone missing because of this creature. Others have been torn to bark and to shreds. I wish for this creature to be stopped. I will not risk the lives of my people. We are not inherently we are not fighters. And this creature has the ability to fly, which is incredibly difficult for us to deal with.
A griffin?
You know of a griffin. Excellent. Means I do not have to explain to you how dangerous this creature is.
I was really hoping that one would also be a children's story.
And looking at the equipment that has been confiscated from you, you are not equipped to fight it.
That spear has been blessed by Athena.
Again, it just doesn't, just sort of like nods. Liars aren't a big thing at the moment, and there's immaculately made with the tortoise shell. So nods and ears. We might need to better arm ourselves if we are to fight a griffin.
We have the resources here for you to make any improvements that you wish to your gear. We just do not have the training to use it. We are more natural, as it were. Well, users of more natural elements is what I'm trying to say. If you can get rid of this griffin, remove the darkness from our forest that it is spreading, then I will provide you with the map and the details for your woodcutters. And we will discuss the potential of us working together on other matters. such as the witches of the woods. Does that sound agreeable?
It is very generous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would it be... We have been training the young lad that you, slightly threateningly, I'm not going to lie, suggested you were looking after. We have been training him in the use of weaponry. You say that you prefer more natural means of defence and are not yourselves fighters. Would any of your kind wish to learn the way of the spear? I would be willing to teach them. As long as they were not to use it on folks who came with good intentions to merely take what they need and no more.
What you offer, young hero, is something that could be world-changing if you were to train us in the ways of human combat. Are you sure that is what you wish? It is a deal that we will greatly accept. And in return for that, I will grant you a gift of my own.
Humans may excel at violence and destroying each other. It is not necessarily a gift, I suppose, but as I stated, the terms would be that it would only be used against those who were taking more than their fair share, those who were acted out of greed and ill intent to destroy your home. I understand the repercussions of teaching you the ways and the strategies that we use, and I offer it on those terms.
Well, it seems that you will need to perhaps stay here for a few days anyway, to, one, complete the initial task that we have requested of you, and two, to inform your woodcutters of the boundaries that there are here, if you wish to wait for them to return to inform them. I will send for your young companion to be brought here with the supplies that he has with him, so that he is not left out there for all of these days, so you may all be reunited. If you are willing to part some of your knowledge with my people, that would be greatly appreciated. And as I said, I will give you a gift in return.
Can part of that gift please be to not choke Alpino again?
I was not choking. He would know if I was choking him.
I think we're just making eye contact with the slightly more steely. Alpino's just looking at her and then sort of nods. And then sort of slight side smile to Fig of like, I am annoyed, but I am okay.
We'll extend her hand.
And you watch as she extends her hand out as well. And as she goes to shake your hand, vines come out of her wrists and wrap around your arm and pull you into the sort of clasp. And as that happens, you watch as the vines sort of wrap around your forearm and then begin to glow a dull green, and then you feel a sharp pain in your arm as they retract out, and you can see that a vine-like tattoo has formed on your arm that is glowing green, but is also pulsing with pain as well. That will ensure that you keep your promise.
Alpino, I don't know what a fey is, but I think I just accidentally made a fey deal.
Bingo, bango. as he rubs at his own tattoos on his arm. Yeah.
It sounds like you just made a warlock pact.
This is going to go so well.
It's fine.
May we have our items back to use them for the improvements you so generously offered?
I will send them to be improved straight away. Yeah, as for training my people, you can give us specifications on how your weapons work, and we will make our own versions of them for you to be trained. But we will follow my people will follow your specifications on this, as you are the lead in the knowledge of it. You may leave whenever you are ready. Oh, just before you do. And she sort of walks back between the two dryads, who are still kneeling this entire time. These two will accompany you wherever you go within the town. We may have made some deals and Corinna may vouch for you, but there is still going to be a level of distrust throughout this settlement. This one, and the broader one, stands up. This is Barker. And the other one stands up. This one is Oakley. They do have other names, but I'm afraid you do not speak their language, our language, so you will not understand them.
Could I hear it?
You can, she says it.
So beautiful.
It does sound very beautiful.
What does she say? I do speak Dryad.
It's not Dryad. She speaks Olympian.
Oh no.
You do know Olympian.
Yeah.
The thinner one is known as Leaf on the Wind, and the larger one is known as Stump in the Ground.
Oh,
Wow.
shit!
Jeez, Josh.
This is up there with Stinkfoot. This is
Who did you call Stinkfoot?
so there's a play about Philoctetes, who was the assistant to Hercules,
Danny DeVito, yes.
Danny DeVito. So when they were going to the Trojan War, he got stabbed in the foot with like a terrible spear, and it starts rotting, and they all call him Stinkfoot and have to leave him on an island. So there's a play where Odysseus has to come back because they need the bow of Hercules, and has to, what's the name of it? It's Achilles' son, and the entire play is like, cool, lie to him, tell him that we're going to take him with us, get the bow. And then it's just very sad. This guy going, everybody left me, but you're not going to leave me, right? Because you're my friend. And this guy's like, yeah, no, cool. And Jesus is like, have you got it? Yeah. Anyway, a bad name, Josh.
Poor Stinkfoot.
Poor Stink. Shout out to
Poor
Stinkfoot.
Stump in the Ground.
This is Stump in the Ground.
Stump in the ground, and do you say
Leaf
leaf
on
on
the
the
wind.
wind?
Leaf on the Wind, yeah.
See how she still soars, yeah. Wow.
I mean, the wash reference is
Yeah.
painful, but we'll let it slide.
Hey, Oakley. Just... Wow.
Oakley likes to play with dinosaurs.
Right,
Barker.
and you can both leave as you both go to leave this area. Your Stump in the Ground or Barker will take your weapons to be improved and upgraded and all of that sort of stuff. I think at that point, before we go any further and we get Theo in and you begin the training montages and all of that sort of stuff, I think that's a good place for us to end for this week. Training montage. We'll have that next week or next time in 2 weeks' time.
What is time?
What is time? Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. We have been Roll Together RPG. If you like what you see, please do consider watching us on Mondays and Tuesdays from 6 p.m. UK time. You can find us all over social medias by searching Roll Together RPG. And a massive thank you to our sponsors and supporters, and to the D20 Club, Dice Heads, and others on Patreon. They are fantastic. They are the best. You can join them from as little as one of your local currency per month, or one dryad, which must be sent to Tom,
Oh, please don't.
Well, don't give him dryads.
by following the links in the description below. We will see you all next time. Goodbye.